Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti, and I can't wait for you to hear all of the Great Girlfriend magic on today's show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and your paper, and get ready for this week's episode. Happy Wednesday, great girlfriends. I hope that life has been treating you well. I hope you've been celebrating yourself, and I hope you have been learning all the lessons that come your way as they come your way in real time and giving yourself some grace. This series that I am so excited to introduce, How She Did It, is all about storytelling behind some of the most beautiful and well-respected women in my circle, the Glossy Posse, who have come together in the name of sisterhood and come together in the name of community and support. Every year we celebrate one another, and throughout the year we continue to connect and support one another. But this series is dedicated to really unlocking some of the success stories that you may or may not know, and giving you some valuable insights into how you can course correct. Maybe you need to pivot, maybe you need to reverse engineer some success, or maybe you need to give yourself just some grace. Maybe you need to just calm down and just be at ease. Whatever that is, my sisters are coming forward to bring that to you today. And every week over the next, I think we're doing about 6 to 8 weeks of this series. And so I'm excited because I have the beautiful Karen Mitchell, who is the founder of True Indian Hair Company, on today. And Karen has been in the hair and beauty business for 20 years. 20 years she has been delivering not just any hair. I'm talking about premium on premium on premium hair and beauty excellence in the market. And on top of that, Karen has done so with grace. She's done so with excellence. She's learned so many lessons along the way. And she's also gotten some amazing insights that she wants to share. And I mean, even as a veteran in the business, she still calls herself a student to, the experience of owning a business, being an entrepreneur. So I'm excited to bring to you the beautiful Karen. Hey, Karen.
Hey, Sybil, thank you for having me.
Oh,
I'm really
girl, I'm
happy to be
excited.
here.
I'm
I'm
excited.
really happy to be here. And I'm not much of a talker. I've been in the business for so long and I've done interviews, but I'm always super shy. Just nervous and just to be knowing what it's going to be distributed to the public.
Yeah.
I get in my head oh, how do I look? What am I going to say? How am I going to be judged? So I try to get out of that space. And so I'm happy to
Get out.
be here with you. I'm very comfortable here with you. And I'm just thrilled. Thank you.
It's gonna be great. Karen, you're wonderful.
Thank you.
You're
I think you are
marvelous.
too.
You have done so much, but aside from what you've done, who you are is so wonderful, right? So we want to start with who you are, and that who you are is what molds how you're able to make the moves that you've been able to make professionally. Who you are personally is a reflection of that. And I see this gracious, beautiful woman who is so kind-spirited and focused and attentive, very detail-oriented and excellent. I see that in you.
Oh, I accept all of that. Thank you so much. So
Oh, it
sometimes
pours
even
out.
that. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I might listen. I'm in this amazing group, the Glossy Posse, that just sisterhood. And I don't always see that. I do have a very close knit group of friends, very small group of friends, but to see this on a broader scale,
Yeah,
women just supporting women. I don't often have time to get in the chat. Sometimes I'm 2 days late when I see things,
me
but I
too.
see all just everything, the support. Hey, this is going on. Hey, and I'm just like, wow, this really does exist
Yeah,
on a broader scale. Like oftentimes we hear that we don't support each other, and we really do. And I'm
it's
happy to be a
happening.
part of that community.
Yeah, and you bring so much support to the community.
Thank you,
So
thank you,
that
thank
that
you.
I feel is a privilege. If you were to describe Karen, what would you say? Who is Karen?
Karen. Karen is, gosh, she is she's a smart woman, shy. I'm an extrovert and an introvert, which
Yeah.
is very weird.
I
So it's you know, I'll be in the room and kind of sit back and just watch. But if I'm really comfortable with my group of friends, I might be the loudest one.
Mm, yeah, safe
um,
space. Yeah.
yes, it has to be a safe space. She's she still has her insecurities,
Mhm.
um, and she's a God fearing woman. She's like, that's who I am, and I also Jamaican. my Jamaicans be like, why did you say you were Jamaican born first? But I'm a Jamaican woman who just it's a black woman going through life and still learning. Still
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say life has been for you lately?
Life has been amazing and chaotic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been great though. I can finally see the hard work that I put in and see the success. I've done some things. I'm like, wow, this is me. I'm sitting right now in my lake house. Like
Mhm.
so it's like things I never dreamed that I would be able to attain. I am attaining.
Yeah.
Um, at the same time, I'm going through a phase where with my company, my brand, I still feel like I'm hustling. As
Mm.
much as I'm successful and people look at me and I'm like, God, you're so successful. I still feel like I'm hustling.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get out of that space.
So, okay, tell me what
And
you
maybe
thought.
I would say maybe that's me just being hard on myself. Because if
It
people
could
look
be.
at me and what I've done and they're like, are you crazy? But in my mind, it's like you're not where you really want to be.
Yeah. Well, you never arrive, right? Like,
No.
drive will always continue to propel you to the next place and the next place.
Yes.
Pardon me, 1 second, I'll be able to take this out. I gotta put the do not disturb on. Okay. Alright, I'll make sure I edit that out. Okay, let me get back to what I was saying.
Yes.
Drive is what will really propel you to the next place and the next place, right? There is no
Yes.
arrival.
Yes,
So
there is none. And my friends are like, you're hard on yourself. And I don't feel so because I'm like, because sometimes I feel like I'm also in a place where I got is complacency. So I became too comfortable.
okay.
So now I'm trying to get out of that space. Because I got a little relaxed, like the queen of hair.
Mhm.
And you can't just sit back and go, okay, I've arrived.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, in business you can't.
Yeah, because it's essentially pumping the brakes on something that
yes,
yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
you
so what would you have said success was 20 years ago versus what you see success as now? What was your imagining coming into this?
I don't know if I even thought about it to the extent of what 20 years later would be like.
Mhm, mhm,
I've always been on the hustle grind. So when I started, it's the business started as a hustle. I worked in fashion for years for a private label company, and most of the production was done out of India. So
mhm.
I got to travel to India with my boss to the factories, and that's where I first started bringing back Indian hair for myself and my friends to New York.
Okay.
And at the time, there was no one that I knew of in Brooklyn selling this hair. It was out there. There was a celebrity hairstylist friend that I knew that was like, "Oh, Indian hair is what I use in my clients," but I've never seen it. I was wearing extensions and never seen this Indian hair, raw quality hair. So when I went to India and was able to do my own research and start bringing back and some to my friends and wearing myself, and people are like, "This is so different from the hair that we're getting. This is so. What is this? Oh my God, I could color this myself. Oh my God, this is
Yeah.
so then it was just I was still working. So now it's just like, oh, I could sell this to friends and family and make some money. But then
Mhm,
I was making more money than I was being paid on my job on the side.
mhm.
So I was
Uh,
like, oh, this is the thing. But even in that space, it still was just like, wow, I'm making money. I'm
mhm,
partying, I'm young, I'm traveling. It's just a good time. And then
mhm.
I got laid off.
Ah,
And I was just like, whoa, what am I gonna do? And
mhm,
in the space of fashion, it's like the story of my life. I was never like someone. I didn't go to a fashion school. I didn't go to Parsons or FIT. I came out of community college with
mhm.
a business associate's degree in business and ended up as a receptionist in this company, and I kept getting promoted.
Wow.
So now I'm in the space where I'm traveling with them, and I'm doing all this color approval on the light box. I'm doing all these technical things that I had to learn on the job. I have my own account, but this was really the space that which is I didn't go to school for this.
Mhm,
So now I'm laid off and I'm interviewing, and they're like, "Oh, you've been with this company for 10 years, but you don't really have a fashion background."
mhm,
So
mhm,
now I am getting low offers, not what I was making, but lower because I don't have the degree, I don't have the technical background. And I'm
mhm.
like, this hair thing was really doing well. I should keep going. And that's where it started. I decided to just not get a job. I was laid off. I was interviewing, but I wasn't being hired. Um, and just start my own business. And that's when I literally said, I'm going to open a store with no business plan, just kind of like, I don't have a job, but I'm making money with this hair.
Yeah. Oh
So
my
that's where,
I listen, I love the out the trunk stories, right? That's what I consider that an out the trunk story where
yeah,
it's like you have the product, you got the supply, you got the demand,
I
and
got the
so you
demand.
meet the market right there.
So yeah, so it's just like go, 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 but not really. I went into it not having a business plan. I didn't know what a
Yeah,
business plan was. I mean, it's like I knew, but I didn't prepare myself. It's just like, oh, your job is paying you after taxes, $800 a week, but you're making 2,000 a week selling this hair.
mhm.
This is 2004.
Yeah,
So it's like just do it. And so I just had this just do it mentality. Just I'm young. I'm no kids, no real responsibility other than my little apartment.
yeah,
And I just did it. I just dove in, and what a shock that was. Because
yeah.
now I have a storefront.
Amazing. Karen, when you started out the trunk, right? That's what we're gonna call
Yeah,
it. You started out the trunk. When you
I like
started
that.
when you
Literally, I was selling out the trunk of my car as well. So I did start at the trunk. I really were. I was. I was making
you're
home
like,
deliveries to people out of the trunk of my car.
wow. So you were the Instacart of hair before there was any such.
Yes, yes, I really was. It was such a grassroots thing, and I look back. I mean, I would go out. I was hanging up more, but I would make flyers. Go to the print shop and get a stack of flyers, and I would go out in every bar, restaurant, club I went to. I would leave a stack in the bathroom. Like
Oh,
I
the
like
best place.
I leave a stack in the bathroom. And if there was like a bathroom lady, I would tip her $20 and like don't throw it out.
Yes.
Let people take it. And I would, go to during the day salons and put swatches of hair on the same flyer and leave it. And just it was just like hitting the pavement, running. And I did that.
I
You
love
know,
it.
and it was
So
just me.
I want to say this because I bet, and I'm probably going to go on LinkedIn and ask this question, but I bet 90% of businesses started without a business plan. I bet. I'm just going to.
I I believe that. I mean, even friends I know who started didn't have a business plan.
No, but you know what they have? They have know-how. And that know
Yeah.
there were so many pieces of you that knew what your business would need without the degree, without the archetype, without the proposal in place. Like you knew that you needed to tell people about it. So you needed to market.
Yes.
You knew that you needed quality. You knew you had a direct relationship with the source vendor.
Yes.
That's that like you already cut out a middleman who's going to try to
Right.
manufacture a price for you.
Right.
Direct.
Right.
You
I was already direct.
you already direct. You
Yeah.
knew that you were going to need to get a flow of traffic, get into your business. So you were continually hitting the streets
I'm hitting the
consistently.
streets and the pavements. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So you were working B2C, business to consumer, very
But
early.
not thinking of it in those terms. More
Yeah.
of
Just doing it.
it's survival. Like I got to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it. As I
When they
got to
buy
do
this hair. Yeah.
it.
I love that because, and then I do think that it's important for people to never discredit your current working knowledge, your skill set, your internal
Yeah.
skill set is so important. And that's
Yeah.
actually going to be your default setting because the business plan will plan something and then there's the real world, right? So
There's the real world. Things
anyone
change.
who had a business plan in 2020 went, whoa, right?
Like it just would. Now you got to pivot. Now what do I do? You got to
You
pivot.
have
Even
to have a default
yeah,
setting that
even for
tells you,
me, like I think I survived that. I survived that having stores because I had stores. I
yeah.
had three stores. I had products in each store. So
Mhm.
while the country was shut and I couldn't get anything from India, India was aborted, everything was
Yeah.
closed.
Whew.
I was still able to ship out, and I don't know where women were going during COVID. I know people
Yeah.
were there was a lot of Zoom conversations in business, but people were buying hair. So, and I
Wow.
was shipping from home. So I was out there all by myself. I remember driving from Jersey. I live in Jersey to New York because my stores are in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Queens. So
Mhm.
I would empty one store, and when that's finished, I go empty the other store. But I remember driving. I felt like Will Smith in that movie. There was literally no one on the street,
Oh yeah, I
but
am
I had,
legend. Yeah.
but I have orders to fill, and I'm literally going. I'm going across the GW Bridge, and there is no other car on this bridge.
Yeah.
It was so
It felt like,
surreal.
yeah,
But
I
I'm going
understand.
to get hair, and I'm driving to go get my hair, and I'll go in the stores, pack up my bags, go back home, and I was shipping from home.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, you are the team, right? At the
I am the
at
team.
the end of the
Yeah,
day, you are the team. So
yeah,
so along the way, 20 years into business, there's a lot of life happening. Right?
yes, yes,
Alongside your professional life, there's a lot of things happening in life, but you remain focused on really balancing out how you show up professionally and personally. What were
yes.
some of the things that you told yourself over the course of these 20 years? that has allowed you to sustain integrity in business, integrity as a person, allows you to sleep at night, gives you peace, and knowing that you've been a woman of excellence across your 20-year span in the career.
Oh, I think just knowing that I'm providing a great product, but also my team, like the people that work in my store, like knowing
Yeah.
that I am providing jobs, and I have a great team of my manager. Nicole's been with me for 15 years.
Wow.
Sandy's been in my Manhattan. She's been with me for 12 years.
Yeah.
And then I have salespeople who assist them. But just knowing that in my community, I am respected, but I also I am respected, and I want to give that respect. And I want to. It's not just about selling hair and making money, but really being a part of my community. I'm very involved in things that happens in my community, and especially in Brooklyn, where I'm originally from.
Mhm.
Um, and just so in the network of people around me, I try to give back. Even on my company, I have an initiative where I give back every year to women suffering from cancer.
Mhm.
It's always a part of me that want to give back as much as I'm getting.
Yeah.
Like not just doing it for me, but like we're all here not just to take from the world, but also what are you giving back to the world? So
Mm.
I kind of feel like you got to get back something. You have to be involved in some way. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, soft life. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. If it's that soft and other people are suffering, how soft is
right.
it?
So I always that's always in the back of my mind. And my mom, who passed away 4 years ago, but was always my mentor. She was the first, and I don't think she knew this. And I always want to tell the story about her because my mom was not educated, and sometimes my sisters hate when I say so. Why you always say that? But I want to I like saying where I come from. Like
Mhm.
she had maybe a fourth or fifth grade educational level, and she's Jamaican, and in Jamaica she sold cashews for a living. Like,
Yeah.
but so she was a person when you go on vacation, they come up to your car with the cashews and thing. That's where I come from. That's
Yeah.
my that's my mom. But she had I don't think she knew at the time that she was an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what growing up watching her that's what that was. She was
Mhm.
just she was a single mother of 9 kids, so she had to provide. So we just look at mom's providing. But when I look back, she did that, and it looked like people look down on those jobs, but she bought land and built her house so that we could all be in a house together, and she provided. And then
Yeah.
she came to America and also sent back for all her kids and brought them here and still provided. So
Yeah.
she's always a person I look to as ah, that's where I got this from, first of all. And I don't think she got the flowers that she should have gotten in
Mhm.
that space.
Mhm.
So she was the first entrepreneur I looked up to and still is. So I got all my work ethics from her.
Yeah.
So I always want to like honor that in everything that I do.
That is so beautiful. I
Thank
love that
you.
story. I think that it's important, that we honor our heritage
Yeah.
as we navigate our journey because that root is you're sort of an extension of that root, and then you're creating more roots for other people, right?
Yes.
So
I've
it's
done
like
that.
that
Yeah.
value, that heritage keeps going.
Yeah.
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 So give me like a couple of times where you were like, "Okay, Karen, great job. Great job. You did that." What were some of your like marking moments where you were really proud of yourself for taking a chance or making a choice or saying no, maybe saying yes?
I've had to learn to say no. I don't know if there's any particular. Every year, I'm just like, wow, like, I mentioned I sponsored. Was my second year sponsoring like Look Once Image Fashion Show. To be in a space where you have major brands um, reaching out to be sponsored by my company.
Yeah.
We've supplied here to like the top celebrities. So even that moment, like last year, I got a call from my store manager Sandy. She's like, Kim Kardashian's manager is on the phone. And, so it's like, these are spaces like, wow, people know who we are
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're reaching out to us, and so I have to sit back and go, wow, this is me. But there's so many instances being recognized by my peers and given awards. Those are like important things where I'm like, sometimes it's hard for me to receive it.
Mm, mhm.
It's hard for me to receive love.
Okay.
And so sometimes people would be like, she's a little, they know me, but they feel like they don't really know me,
Mhm. Mhm.
because I'm a little bit say like I give you enough, but it's just like, and it's not, it's just I don't know how to receive love. Like uh, talking about my mom. we knew, like, my whole family, my mom, we loves us. She did everything for us. Now looking back, I'm like, she didn't have a life. Her whole life was her kids. Like
Yeah.
she did not literally had nothing outside of her kids,
Wow.
everything. So, but at the same time, I had a brother who passed from a car accident years ago.
Mhm.
And before that, we never used to say "I love you" in our family, but we knew it, but we just never said it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it then became awkward. And it was awkward saying it. Even when we had to, when we tried to say it, it was awkward. Now we're comfortable saying that's, say to my sisters, but in the beginning, and we knew we loved each other, but just saying it was awkward because my mom was so busy working. She
Mhm.
showed love in other ways, but we knew we
Right.
were loved. I knew she. I was her favorite.
Yeah. Yes, you were.
So we knew we were loved, but actually saying it, the
Yeah.
action, like to say the action was there, but to be able to verbalize it was different.
Mhm.
And so I'm still in that space where it's like when my friends hug me, and like my employees know, like sometimes they try to hug me, and I'm like, all right, okay, enough,
Uh-huh,
because
uh-huh.
it's like it's so hard to just embrace and be like, oh.
Yeah,
So I've been learning to do that over the years.
that's
So
good.
when people are like, honor me, and for me to sit back and go, oh, thank you so much, and really feel it, and then even embrace them, like I appreciate that.
And not
Um,
rush through it.
yeah,
Sit in
but
it.
those are important moments, like be like being honored, but just also seeing like the top celebrities, not us reaching out to them, but them reaching out to us.
Mhm.
It
Good.
makes me go, wow,
Yeah.
that's me, that's my brand.
What have you learned
It's
about
respected.
celebrating yourself though, Karen? When you get to a certain moment, like for example, I'll say, you said I'm in my lake house, right?
Yeah,
I didn't miss that. At some point, you said, Karen, you're worthy of having a second home, a lake house, right? With the
right.
things you might want in it. Or, like you can make it your way, you can have it your way. At what point did you give yourself that permission to celebrate yourself in that way?
I don't know if I have.
You took a leap though. You made the purchase.
I did, and so in that sense I have, but yeah, and this is where I come to kind of go, when I need to, because it's just now it's like I needed to get away and come here this week and just be like,
Mhm.
I need a break. So maybe in those things, but I don't know if I fully celebrate myself.
Mhm. Is that something you want to work on, or is it
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no,
okay,
it's definitely something I want to work on. It's a lot I have to work
okay.
on, and I have a friend of mine. I've not. I mean, I believe in therapy, but I personally have not gone through therapy, and so she's always like, "You need therapy. Everyone needs therapy." I mean, if when she sees this, she's gonna be like, "You, because when I talk, she could hear certain things and say,
Uh-huh.
you actually, because, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not going to tell you to go to therapy, but I am going to say the reward of going to therapy for me has been a heightened sense of self-awareness around things
right,
that I've been glazed over, like really sitting in it. One of the things that you are working through is one of the things that I've learned to kind of take on, which is celebration or
yeah,
receive compliments. Someone would give me a compliment and I would feel the need to compliment them back.
right.
You look good. You look good. No, 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 no. That moment was for the you look good. It was just
I do that. I
yeah,
do that.
because I want to take the attention. I would in the
Off of
past
me.
take the attention off of
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Like get shared equity in this moment. Like, girl, you too, because I want to make sure other people will
yeah.
feel it
I
as
do that.
well.
I
And,
definitely do
and
that.
no, no, and so therapy taught me that moment of revelation or that moment of marvel was for me.
Right.
It's for me, like, just say thank you and own it. Don't try to explain it. Don't say, "Oh, thank you. I got this from this," or "Thank you, I was tired." Don't just say, "Thank you. I appreciate it," and
Yeah.
keep it moving. Karen, you could do
Yeah.
it, girl. Watch.
I mean, I do it sometimes, but it's still a work in progress.
It is, I'm
I'm still
sure.
a work in progress.
I'm sure.
I'm
So
still a
then
work in progress.
what would you say to the great girlfriend who's listening, who completely relates with us and is like, but Karen, what is one thing that you or that she can do differently now that she can take ownership of the fact that she needs to learn how to celebrate too? What's one
Yeah.
thing she could do differently?
Oh, I mean, I celebrate.
Well, what's
Uh,
one thing she could do differently? What would you tell her?
the one thing that she could do differently in that space, or hmm, it's saying learning how to receive is different. It's really because it's still hard to receive. So it's like
Yeah.
I could say to someone, you have to sit back, And because I do sit back and think about what I've done, and I go, wow,
Mhm.
I really have to then sit back and look at it often because I'm always moving. So that's really
Yeah.
what it is. I'm always moving. I don't want to end up in the space where even as much as I admire what my mom did, I don't, because I feel like I said she never did anything for herself. It
Mhm.
was always for others. And although I've done for myself,
Yeah.
I sometimes don't get to marvel at what I've done. Like even I love this house, and when I bought it, it was like, oh God, I really, I love being on the water. I want to get something, and I did that. But I didn't see it as just when my friends and my family came, and I had a friend who started crying, that I was like, wow, this is really a big, like, this is a big accomplishment.
Yes.
So sometimes it takes someone else to kind of almost point it out. I know what it is, but it's more surface, like, oh, this is great. But then people are like, Karen, look what you have done. And so she came and she was like, Karen,
Mhm.
and then she reminded me of like where I came from. Not that she needed to, but it's like, you this, grew up in Brooklyn. We know where you're from. Your mom was
Yeah.
poor, and here you are.
Mhm. Mhm.
So and so then I was like going, wow. So it's being able to be able to sit back and not just like keep that. I move too fast sometimes. So you just like the movement. You have to be able to just kind of sit back and take in what you've done. You have to
Mhm.
be able to sit back and look at you, almost look at yourself outside of yourself,
Mhm.
to admire yourself outside
The
of yourself.
reflection. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like sit back and see you like, wow, that is me. And then say, well, you girl, you've done this. You
Mhm.
did well. You did well. So
Yeah. Girl, you've done this. You did well.
thank you.
Something
Thank
when
you.
you can sit and reflect in it, and just kinda receive it from yourself. Like, that kinda nurture is a whole other level of
Yes.
it's just a self gratification
It's
where,
and you need that. You
yeah,
need
you
that.
don't need it from the outside. You're
So
like, "Girl."
I've done it occasionally. I just need to do it more. I just need to
Yeah.
do it more. So
So, now that you are at your 20 in business, if
yeah.
you look at what the next 20 years would look like for you, what's one decision that you wanna take forward? A decision that you made in the last 20 years that you wanna take into the next 20 years? Something that served you well.
My accountant and my attorney.
Okay, come on, legal. Come on, money.
You gotta protect yourself. You have to
Yes,
know how to protect yourself in your investments.
yes.
In business, I don't want to. I'm trying to scale a business, so you have to have an exit plan for your. If you're an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
it's like whether it's for it to be. We are going to get older, so whether you have kids and your family's going to take over your business, or you're going to sell your business, but you have to have an exit plan. So I'm working on that, what that looks like.
Mhm,
But in the meantime, I have to protect my assets and protect my business.
mhm.
Um, when I think of giving someone advice, from the beginning to the end, always have a great accountant, someone
Yeah.
you trust, but
At
also
what point did you get your accountant? What year or so, or how long have you been with your accountant?
I mean, I've been like having like an accountant that really works for my company was probably 10 years in. I mean, I used to go to this accountant and that accountant beginning, this one does my taxes, that one does my taxes.
Mhm.
And then I decided, okay, you need to have someone who really works for your company and you could go to and sit. And you also understand what those numbers look like and what they mean. Because
Mhm.
oftentimes we don't.
Mm.
Um, and so, and I was able to, thank God, with my business, able to invest in other things. Having someone on your team that always protects you and tells you, I made a mistake a few years ago with a business investment, and my accountant told me not to do it,
Mm.
and I did it anyway, and I lost a lot of money. And I
Mm.
lost a lot of money. So being able to have someone on your team that you trust and could talk to you, and my attorney, the same thing, and my business attorney, everything that I do, I have them look at it. Should I do this? How would I protect myself?
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
simple thing and draft a contract for this. Like, you have to protect yourself. So when you have a business, a growing business, you have to have those people in place to make
Mhm.
sure you're protected along the way.
S
Um,
Talk to me about your friendships, because you said
ah,
you have a core, a center group of friends that you really just lean into, and they're a safe space for you.
yes,
How have you utilized them as a sounding board, as a personal board for your life? Like, how have they been instrumental in you evolving as Karen and you evolving as a businesswoman and a leader? How have they been that role for
yes.
you?
Over the years, I've had where I was the one. I don't know how to ask for help.
Mm.
So I was the one always, the one doing the help. I was
Mhm.
the one being leaning, and a few years ago, I started feeling burnt out, and I started realizing you have to talk to people. And if you have these friends, and your friends always come to you, but you don't really share, because
Yeah.
everyone thinks my life was so great, which is on the surface it is, but I have my issues and I have my ups and downs, business ups and downs. The time when the business was doing like just losing. So it's like it goes up, it goes down. And I am more like, hey, so everyone thinks everything's great. Karen's happy. Karen's great. Karen doesn't cry. Karen's a tough cookie. Karen has it all. She has it together. And
Yeah.
then I had to really be vulnerable and share. And it's that's a part of learning to be a good friend, because sometimes it's you sit back and you call yourself a friend, you're in a space where you have friends, but you're not really sharing your story or your life.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really know you. They could know you for years, but still don't know you. So
Yeah.
I had to let my friends in to know me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then when that started happening, when I was able to let go of that control, once again it goes back to the control, even the control of my business, let go of the control of the image.
Yes. That's good, Karen. You just set somebody free. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was able to be a better friend and also to receive friendship in a better space, because I
Oh,
was able to just talk about my own issues and share. And so now out of that, I was able to have now a closer select group of friends to
mm-hmm.
have that with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And then
So,
then I became a part of the Glossy Sisters, and that's even it's like on a bigger scale. Seriously, every time I'm just so impressed in seeing, like, because I didn't have that. Other than the few friends I have, I didn't have that, so I didn't know what that's. I've never had a mentor.
mm-hmm.
I,
Wow.
no, I've never had a mentor.
Wow. You like
So
one? Are you in a space where you like one now, or are you like,
yeah. But
yeah,
I've never had one, and I have some people come to me and wants me to mentor them, and I've mentored a few people. But
mm-hmm.
I, even doing so, I had to figure out what that looks like, because I've never had one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
yeah, what is it like for me to be a mentor? Because I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm. That's really major, Karen, that you've never, so you have gotten to where you are, I won't say not necessarily figuring it out, but also
Oh, it is figuring out.
leaning into your, yeah,
And,
figuring
and
out,
I've made some mistakes. It's figuring out, but it's all picking myself back up.
yeah, picking
So
your,
if I fail or if something happens, I don't sit and go, okay, that's it, I'm done.
yeah.
I
Have
had
you
a
ever asked for a mentor and couldn't get one, or was it that you just never landed in a space with a mentor?
I've never landed in the space of mentor, and I've been so much on the go, go, go.
Yeah,
But when I start seeing people who talk about their mentors, I'm like, wow, I see where it's needed. I see why it's important.
yeah.
You
Wow.
know, but I've never had that. So I've literally done this on my own, leaning on my own recognition, just kind of like figuring out. And sometimes I don't know what the hell I'm doing,
Yeah.
but it's like I got to do something.
So then, Karen, what are some of the questions you ask yourself when it's time to make a decision?
When I got to make a decision, I do sit though, and I do weigh the pros and the cons, and I write things down.
Uh-huh.
I'll make a list of, like, this is it's not like I just go in. I do have to sit and
Yeah.
think about it. I'm very like about like, okay, I take my time, I weigh it, I look at it. Um, if anything, I call, if I don't have a mentor, but I'll call my attorney, because he's also like a friend, also as an
Yeah.
attorney. So I'm like, Ben, what do you think of this? And then I have the close group of friends I talk about. So I'll call one or two of them. My friend Janice, she's a numbers person. So I'll call her with financial, like, hey girl,
Mhm.
but she's also very, I'm a risk taker.
Mhm.
So she's not. So sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I should have called you, because
You're trying to land my plane. I'm trying to
right.
land this thing. And you are, yeah,
You're
yeah,
too
yeah.
safe. You're too safe. Ah.
We're going this way. You take me now. Like, yeah,
Right. And my friend Mecca also gives me a lot of advice, because she's been in the branding space. So I'll lean on some people, but at the end of the day, it's like, I just avoid the options and I go. And I know sometimes it's risky, and I've had losses.
Mhm.
But like I said, I always pick myself back up. There's no option. There is no option. And uh, I don't look as failure as, people sometimes I had a friend that told me, she had a friend that lost a lot of money in stocks, and he was considering suicide. And I'm like, really? And then she's like, yeah. And I literally was like, oh, he's stupid. And she was like, don't say that. And not in that way, but I was so like angry and I'm like, you keep
Got
going.
your worth
But
to
then
the
I
yeah,
had to sit back and go, whoa, okay, I shouldn't have said that because people, when things happen to them, they deal with it differently. Not everyone's the
yeah.
same. I come from, like I said, my mom, where it's just like hustle, grind, no matter what, you got to get it done. She had to provide for 9 kids. So that's all I saw is like, you keep going no matter what.
Right.
You
There's no
keep
room
going.
to
No,
quit.
there's right.
Yeah.
So, but there's some people who really need guidance and need help, and this is different for them. But for me, it's just like I got to keep going.
Mhm.
I opened a restaurant lounge in Brooklyn a few years ago, loved it, but my accountant told me not to do it. My attorney told me not to do it. My friends told me not to do it. Oh no, I want a restaurant lounge.
So
I
Karen opened the
it
restaurant.
Yeah, it didn't work. I literally lost like $500,000 on it, and I was just like, "Ooh, that's my savings is depleted. What do I do now?"
Yeah.
But I didn't sit in that space for long.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, you
I
gotta
did not sit in that. I got to pick it up. I can't sit and cry about what's already gone.
yeah, so good.
It's gone.
Mhm.
When you accept the fact that you can't change what has happened, but you got to move forward, you move differently.
That's
You
right.
move with a different drive. Because now, if you just sit in that, oh my God, I keep looking back at 500,000 going, 500,000 going. Oh my God, you will stay there forever.
Absolutely. And you miss the opportunities that are
You
right in
miss
front
it. So
of you.
I was just like, oh man,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really messed up there. But now I gotta go. I gotta go here.
Say to the woman who's listening who is learning to trust herself. She does look back and she holds on to the failures and she goes, "Girl, you remember last time you started a business and it didn't do well?" Or, "Girl, remember the
Right.
last choice you made?" What would you say to her? She rehearses yesterday. What would you tell her?
I don't know how to tell someone you can't, but you have to look forward. You just if you can't change it, you have to accept, can I change what happened?
Mhm,
Because if you can't change it, what is the sense of sitting looking back at it?
mhm.
It's behind you. I've looked back. I mean, at times I still like when I have conversation with the rest, I'm like, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my, that was a lot of money.
yeah.
But because I mean, at the time I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I have
Mm,
to walk away from this business. I'm going to lose everything I put into it.
mhm.
But you can't. To the person who's in that space of looking back. I don't. You're asking a good question because I just know what I have to do for myself, and what I've done is that you can't look back because look back doesn't do anything for you.
Mhm.
And you have to remind yourself when you look back, say, can I change it? If you can't change it, you have to look forward.
Oh,
You
if you
have to
can,
look forward.
it's good. Yeah. What's next for you?
Ah, what's next for me? Um, Scaling the business is next for me in business. Scaling the business is next, and still learning how to embrace all that I've done at the same time.
Mhm, mhm. Ooh, that's good, Karen. I love
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like I said, we're always on the go, 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 and sometimes we just don't get the chance to sit back and go, okay, enjoy this. I mean, my life looks like I enjoy it because I have things. People look at material things and you have it.
Mhm.
And I travel a lot and I do all of those things. So I have enjoyment in my life,
Yeah.
but really sitting back and like take it all in.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
have to learn to do that. And I'm believing that I'm still learning to do that.
I love that. I will say, just recently as a parent, slowed down enough to enjoy just sitting in the
Yeah.
moments of
Sit in
like,
the
I
moment.
have 3 more summers with my son before he goes to college, yikes, and 5 more summers with my daughter, and that made me feel
Yeah.
anxious, and I had to slow down and go, Are we in am I enjoying I know I'm checking boxes, I'm moving them along, yeah, they're making progress, and
Great. It's great.
I'm
But
giving them vacation, yeah, but am I enjoying? Am I really enjoying?" And my daughter and I took a trip to Paris that we just
ah,
enjoyed. We enjoyed so much. We just enjoyed one another. We had a list of things we want to do and we didn't, and we shopped and we didn't, and we walked a
um,
lot and we just enjoyed. And it was so good
yeah.
not not feel pressed to accomplish something
Some
in our relationship, but
just to
just enjoy.
enjoy. Yes.
Just
Yes.
enjoy. And so
That's
every
important.
day I slow down just a bit, just so we
Yes.
can, even if it's 30 minutes, after the bedtime, what I would like to see them go to bed because we're
Yeah.
enjoying one another.
So
I-
you
Let's
allow
just
it
do
because this
it.
is enjoy this
Yeah,
moment.
we're
Yeah.
enjoying a moment. Let's not mess this up trying to be so regimented and be on
Regimented,
schedule.
structured, and this is yeah.
Yeah, let's just have the peace and fulfillment of enjoying laughs and whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I used to call them stolen moments, but no, no, I don't steal those anymore.
Right. It's not
Like,
stolen
I'm
moments. It
not
belongs to
stealing.
you.
They belong to me. They belong to us. Karen, it's like, why are you
Yes. I'm not stealing no
stealing?
damn moment.
I'm
This
not
is my
stealing. This
moment.
is my moment. Right. If I can't have this, then what do I have?
What do I have?
Yeah.
What am I doing it for? Like so
Girl, so that's it. That's it. I
yeah.
love this time with you, Karen. Oh my
I
God.
enjoyed this. This is really good. Thank you.
I gotta
Thank
tell
you.
you in all honesty,
This is a safe space. I
it
appreciate
is.
this.
It's always
Yes.
here for you. I have
Yes.
been listening to you, but I've also been marveling in your beauty, and I have
Oh,
been
thank you.
grabbing your hair, saying, "I
Oh,
need that in my life."
this is a true Indian hair, super kinky curly, baby.
The way that hair is herring, I'm like, "Ooh, Sybil, girl, yes, I
This
need."
will look good on you. Yes. It will look real good.
Girl, it's doing all the things. So
Thank
wait, so
you.
tell our great girlfriends where they can connect with you, where they can learn more, where they can grab their true Indian hair, where they can
Yes.
support you.
It's true Indian hair on all platforms. TRUE Indian hair. And my personal is NY Hair Queen.
Okay.
So that's it. So trueindianhair.com, True Indian Hair, Instagram, Twitter, all the things. And
Yeah.
want to connect with me personally is NY Hair Queen.
I love it.
Thank
I
you,
love it,
Sybil.
Karen. Thank you so much for
I
being on
appreciate it.
today. Great girlfriends. There is so much to grab. I can't even fully summarize it, Karen, because I came in thinking that we would talk in one way, but you just kind of really expanded the conversation in so many ways because you're sharing your.
I felt like it was a bit of a therapy session for me.
It's your first therapy session. Tell your
Yes.
we did it. We
I
did it.
did it. I
We
did
did
it.
it.
I did. It felt good to kind of be vulnerable and talk about those things that sometimes I don't
Yeah.
admit. I admitted some of the things she's going to be surprised that I admit some of the things I did.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Yeah.
so honored. I'm so honored.
Yeah.
I
So
love it. I love it.
that's, you made it a comfortable and safe space to do so. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you, Karen. Thank you,
Thank
great
you.
girlfriends, for listening.
All right, great girlfriends, did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast and the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group at The Great Girlfriends, follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends, and on Twitter at _great GFS. I'm Sybil Amuti, and I'm out. Peace.